the question was asked from a friend because I was looking up topics to do for another video to do, and he wondered, well, gaming as a new dad, and I thought, I thought that'd be really cool to talk about. So I'll preface this whole thing by saying that it took me and my wife over 6 years to have a child, and we clearly went into this whole thing with, we definitely want to have a kid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we knew there was going to be a sacrifice of time away from our hobbies and other things that we like doing, because raising a child is hard work. Now, to anyone who doesn't have kids, or they're having their own issues, I'm not here to judge you. I have a lot of respect for the adults that are in these relationships that can say, yeah, we just don't want to have kids because we don't know if we can give up that kind of time, whether it be because, of their jobs or financially. I mean, I get it. I do. And I'm not here to judge. So anyone here who has their own problems or just chooses on themselves to just not have kids, I understand. So getting into, like, being a gamer but also a new father, I will say that the times are either very selective or non-existent. Sometimes at night I'll play like Fortnite or something, and now I'm trying to play through Horizon again because it's such a great game. During the day it's kind of hit and miss. I try to find games that I can play relatively quick. I'm kind of getting back into PC gaming again, only because like I'm finding myself in front of my computer very often because I have a special kind of wooden rocking chair where I now sit in my computer, and I sit here when I feed her, and primarily when I just chill. I kind of just plant myself in one seat in order to save energy, and so I'm not just getting up and down constantly. So as far as gaming goes, like I said, it's very hit and miss. Some days are better than others. If she's feeling more tired on some days, I'll get more gaming in. Otherwise, it's primarily just getting errands done. And that's the other thing, too. It's like, because now all my attention is focused on this now 5-month-old child. So I'm taking care of her, and I'm trying to give her attention and play with her because I want to make sure she grows up with a good, a good foundation. I don't want to be the person that just tucks their kid off in their crib and shuts the door and plays video games for hours, because I actually know people who are doing that, and it royally pisses me off. Like, you need to be a better parent than that. You can't just tuck your kids away in another room, shut the door, and hope that they'll cry themselves to sleep. And I refuse to do that. But I'll definitely say it has its challenges. It eats into if you're a hardcore gamer, it's going to eat into your schedule 90% of the time. So, unless you're the kind of person that can survive off of only like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, I do not recommend doing this at all. Because your attention is going to be very much so divided. What I mean by, having children and being a hardcore gamer, you got to sacrifice. You got to know when to sacrifice your personal time for family time, because your family time is going to be what really matters. But I will say this, that with the free time I do have, and sometimes she'll sit in her little special chair. She'll be lying in her, or like lying on a blanket, or in her little special seat, and she'll watch for a little while. But after a while, like, she definitely wants attention. So yeah, it definitely has its challenges, but at the same time, it's also very rewarding to watch her grow, to see her smile, to witness all the small little things that she's discovering. And as far as like gaming, it just makes me appreciate it a whole lot more. It definitely has made me want to go out and like find games less, only because first of all, it's still pretty hard to find decent games here at decent prices at thrift stores. But at the same time, it also has completely destroyed my tolerance for dealing with difficult people, whether it be at these stores or on Craigslist. It's just, I have no tolerance for dealing with nonsense, and now that all my focus is now on my daughter, I have even less tolerance and patience for stupidity. So hopefully that answers that question. I still game when I can. Sarah's been really cool about that. When I have her mainly during the day for 2 or 3 days out of the week. And then me and her, like, obviously we help each other on the weekends the best we can. We have a family member look after her a couple days a week while both of us are working on the same days. So we try to trade off and give each other as much personal time as humanly possible. We only really jump in if it's absolutely needed. We both understand that each person has to have their own space, maybe like even their own quote-unquote day off. Because it is tough. It is tough. Within the first month and a half was very hard on Sarah because she was solely the only person that was taking care of the child. And then when she went back to work, it became a shared responsibility. But we've kind of got into a method with it now, and I kind of make it part of my routine. I pack her up in the car on Monday and Wednesdays, and we'll check out a couple stores, Walmart, Target, Goodwill. And we'll make a day out of it, and she likes being in the car, and she likes going through the stores. She loves going through the electronic sections, especially when all the big flat screens are playing. She'll stare at that forever. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's no longer gaming time, but family time. But the trade-off with that is that in years to come, those two things are going to start crossing paths. And gaming time will become family time, and that's something I'll be able to share with her. So hopefully that was able to kind of clear up how that things have been going for me. Right now it's been a lot of YouTube time because she loves watching television, and she's constantly going for my PS4 controller. So clearly she has it in her blood. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this gives some insight to anyone who is curious what gaming is for new fathers. As of right now, we don't have any plans on having another child anytime soon. We're thinking maybe in a couple of years. Get her in a good age before we end up having another kid. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. For those of you who are actually interested, hopefully it meant something. Yes, there is a reason I keep saying hopefully, because that's her name is Hope. And because I'm terrible at puns and jokes, so I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that was even worth it. Probably not. It's cool. So, as always, thank you to everyone who took the time to just get some insight about this. It's a really interesting subject. And I recommend, if you're ever curious about what that is, especially if you're becoming going to be like a new parent, I recommend finding someone who is a parent and just ask them some simple questions. It is going to be a little overwhelming at first, because I'm not just talking about gaming, I'm just talking about life in general, but it does even itself out, and it evens itself out in time. So, nothing to worry about. It's all good times, and for those of you who just, parenting's just not in the works for you, it just makes you appreciate the time you have all that much more. And hey, you know what? I'm looking for a babysitter, so feel free to contribute. So until next time, thank you so much, and I'll see you later.